Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm sitting here in Avon Lake, Ohio. I kayaked from over by my home in Sheffield Lake by the boat launch, so it's a couple miles so far. I wanted to bring you guys out by the old electric plant, CEI or Reliant Energy, whatever. They've had so many names the last few years because of everything, but they tore this place down. And part of it was done through explosives, and they've been working at it. So I wanted to come up this way because I grew up with this plant. So I'm used to it being here. And I've seen the plant from the water. Now the area is actually really, empty now. I'm really interested to see what Avon Lake ends up doing with the property, if it ends up selling to a big developer or what I've seen many different drawings of different ideas. But yeah, it looks kind of creepy and dark behind me. I'm kind of wondering what I'm gonna go into when I head back home, because I have to go west to head back home, and I'm several miles away from my home. So, but I'm very excited that I got out here today over to Avon Lake, because I generally always try to go towards Lorraine, but being an offshore wind, it's lightened up a little bit. It was a little bit on the way here. It got a little bit bouncy at times where the waves are coming to me broadside because it's offshore wind, and I'm heading east northeast to come to Avon Lake. So some of the waves were actually coming over. They were like little baby white caps. Not even, the waves weren't even maybe a foot, half a foot, somewhere around here. Nothing major. But there was enough wind to it where it was just starting to crest over, and they were little baby tiny white caps. And some of those can go over the bow of my boat, surprisingly enough, because your boat goes up and down, and then there's another wave, and then it just, because you're coming down from one, it catches that other one, and it gives a little extra momentum, and it breaks over the bow of the boat or gets me wet. But yeah, I like waves. It's actually nicer when it's wet, when it's a little bit windy and wavy, because this boat, being 18 feet, is meant to be able to cut through that. The problem I'm having now is trying to stay cool when I get hot. I got so skinny, my waist is so small that now the spray skirt that I wear is a little bit loose around my waist. So anytime I put water on me, it goes down into the boat. So I got a little bit of water where I'm sitting. But oh my God, it's so different over here. I'll spin around so you can see where I'm at, for all of you who are from Avon Lake or this area. But I mean, they've completely, it's completely different out here. I mean, it's just amazing. Like I said, I'm trying to spin an 18-foot boat on a fucking dime. It's not the easiest. I can do it, but I think you can see where I'm at now. You see the stack behind me, so I can see in my screen, so I can see what you can see. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing over here. They've changed it so much. And it's kind of weird because over here, you see beach line again, but you weren't allowed to access that because it belonged to the power plant. But there was beach line property right after the boat launch. I'm next to the Avon Lake boat launch by Miller Road. So there used to be accessible beach for people there, but the water came up so high in level that the beach is indefinitely closed now. They used to have a ramp that you could go down there and stuff. So it's completely changed here by the looks of what it looks like now. So I'm gonna do a little bit of cruising. Like I said, some of these clouds look like I could be running in the rain at some point where I'm sitting. They don't look too comfortable, but the rain or the wind's down. So if there's no wind and no lightning, I don't give a fuck about rain. But yeah, this is absolutely amazing over here. It's just the landscape is so much different. Some of you will remember they had their intake pipe for the electric company because they were using, I believe, coal to produce their electricity. Well, they had their intake off the lake over here where it was a rocked in, cove. Even that's been torn apart and not really what it used to be. So I'm not really that far from 83. I'm considering whether I should paddle down towards 83. Problem is I got to take a leak eventually. So I'm going to stop somewhere to do that. But it's absolutely amazing down here with how things have changed. You know, at least the rocks that are left for the cove, for the intake, inlet pipes, the birds seem to like it. But yeah, I don't generally paddle down this way. Usually it's towards Lorraine. So this is a nice little pleasant treat for me because it's been a long time. Actually, this is the furthest east in the Avon Lake I've been with this. Obviously, I've kayaked in Cleveland, so I've been further east on the lake. But as far as coming into Avon Lake, I usually stop over close to the old Lakeside 10. I have one video where I'm out this way, but it's an older video from a long time ago. And I don't know if it made it to YouTube or if it was something I did on my Facebook and stuff. But yeah, I'm right next to where the rocks are from the old intake inlet for the, like I said, for the electric plant, they had an intake pipe in the water and it just takes in for cooling, or I don't know if it's for producing steam. I don't know how that works. I don't work inside a fucking electric plant. So I'm only going off of what I do know about coal. So they were probably burning the coal to make steam in the water, using the steam to spin turbines, and that's what I'm assuming this plant did. But again, I'm not really smart on that stuff because I've never worked in one. But yeah, I remember when they used to build up the pressure on this tower right here, because I think they're going to keep this main stack. They used to build up the pressure back when I was a little kid. Remember, I'm 48 years old now. So I'm talking about when I was a kid, maybe 12 or 13. But this stack behind me, let me get it in the frame for you. That stack that you see behind me, they used to let it build up with pressure, and then every day at a certain time they would let it off and it would make this huge boom. You'd feel the vibration and stuff. It was pretty cool, you know, but that was back when I was a kid. I haven't heard that in a long time, so I think they stopped doing it at some point. So it was kind of neat though. But it's amazing how much this area has changed. It's just like barren construction lands where they just pour everything out. So it's just something else. And I'm so glad I got out this morning. It's so peaceful. I'll be honest though, I'm looking towards Canada, and man, those people, you would think they'd be better at dealing with fires. Oh man, you can see the smoke is so thick headed out towards Canada. You're seeing fishermen go out and they're going into the smoke and they disappear at distances where they should be very clear. Don't mind me reaching in front because I have to swipe the screen so I can see what the hell's going on. But yeah, it's actually wonderful being out here. I mean, it's really my last kayaking video where I was on the Lorraine River and I took you down over by the lighthouse in Lorraine. Someone commented, I think I know who the comment came from. It was a invisible follower, but I think I know where it came from. And they're like, oh man, you just seem like you're living the life. And that's all they said. But yeah, this is the life, man. For me to be able to get out here, like right now, I can just sit back and a couple miles from home, not a care in the world. How could I complain? I mean, I have a lot of problems with the VA, like I mentioned in a video that's going to be uploaded today on a YouTube that explains a little bit. But you know, I've been through things of nightmares with what the VA has done to me and what Miss Ashley Adamites, my stalker, has done to me, and how the VA has went about trying to absolutely destroy my good name. Again, you have to remember, they took my ass to court, filed for orders of protection 2 separate times. The first time, and I have all the documentation to prove it, that's what's beautiful, is I kept everything, you know, to document it all. Well, the first time I didn't fight it because they didn't do anything. On an order of protection, at least here in Ohio, there's a box that you can check. If it gets checked, it means you're considered violent and they'll attach to your Second Amendment right. And then when the sheriff comes and serves you, they take any weapons you may have firearm-wise. So I went through all that shit the second time. But the first time they didn't mark that box, so it was just a, you know, simple stay away type thing, which to me was no problem. So I stayed away, and then years later, you know, I finally complained because through the whole order of protection the first time, she continued to stalk me on a weekly basis. And I have, go to Adam Stepik Facebook page and look me up. You can go all the way through my background through the last 4 or 5 years and see where she's followed me around with kayaking. I talk about it on Facebook and stuff. Anytime before that, I wasn't really a big Facebook fan, you know, and stuff like that, but I have documentation just on Facebook showing this lady harassing me and all the horrible things that they put me through. Well, the second time, I finally got sick of, you know, her showing up everywhere I would go. So I went and I filed a complaint with her employer, the VA, over at the Cleveland Regional Federal Building, over at the Anthony J. Celebrezzi Building. As soon as I did that, they were like, take them to court. You already had one order of protection. They'll believe you right away. Well, they didn't expect me to come to court with evidence. So I won in court. Well, as soon as I beat the dumb bitch in court, Miss Adamides and the VA decided to go on a full-on attack. They sent private investigators. I have video of me fucking giving cease and desist orders, people following me, the same vehicle in one county, sitting right next to my house in a completely different county. You know, it's just been endless. So, yeah, no matter what they do to me and all this stuff, and then now I'm proving that, you know, the union that is supposed to be representing